Right, welcome to a video guide through how to do a reflexive essay. The title of this is The Reflexive Journey of a Placement Student. Now, this whole presentation is about the path you have taken through your placement year to where you are now. So we start off with, when you first came to university in your first stage, what did you actually learn while you're here? Well, knowledge-wise, you learned a little bit about accounts, you learned a little bit about marketing, you also learned a little bit about developing skills, both personal, business and personal development planning. You learned about the external environment, and you learned about people and organisations. Remember, you watched video case studies and you had to evaluate how they relate to organisational life. Now, why have I identified that assessment above all the others? Well, I've done that because the videos would have shown you organisational life issues that you may have come across while you're on placement. You also started to consider what direction you wanted to take, and you started to develop skills and behaviours which one day you would help in placement. You then moved into your second year, where you started to consider are you on the right path, and you also talked about what you were doing and whether you're sure about what you're doing. You probably had doubts and concerns about this, and you probably felt uneasy about it. You may not admit to it, but the fact is you probably had that. It's a normal course of life. Within this year, knowledge-wise, you learn about ethics, strategy and operations management. You also had the opportunity to specialise in HRM, or marketing, or finance enterprise. You also consider whether you should do a placement, and what a placement would give you. You also started to think about what skills, behaviours and knowledge could you develop while on placement, and whether the placement would have any great value to you in your development as a future professional. As you entered into your placement year, and you're successful in securing a placement, and you were successful. You worked for, some of you, in some cases, multinational organisations, both in the UK and abroad. You had the opportunity to develop yourselves, but also while you're on placement, you start to probably think about, well, am I sure this is for me? Whether that is the placement itself, or whether that was the subject area that you were doing, or whether you as a person were relevant for this. Now, it probably wasn't what you imagined it to be like. You didn't think you'd be making tea or coffee, or photocopying, or doing filing, or doing manual duties. But you had to do this to learn organisational life and how the business worked until they were capable, until you proved you were capable, and they trusted you to do the job. Some of you may have been thrown in the deep end, some of you may have been protected. But these are all different journeys, and you need to reflect upon how this affected you all. Now, the people you met may not have been what you expected. You may have felt insecure. You may have felt out of your comfort zone. You may have felt that this isn't for you. But the most important thing is that you probably would have learnt a lot about yourself. And you probably think, well, actually, in my first 2 years of university, didn't really relate these to the workplace. However, work experience and experiential learning is not just about knowledge. It's about the ability to make sense in a chaotic world. And the placement is the opportunity to do this. And so you need to think about what skills and behaviours you did while you're there, and how you developed, and more importantly, how you changed. Coming back to your final year, which I call the Thunderdome. And I call it the Thunderdome because it is a fight. It is a fight to see which of you survive and which of you rise to the top. You look at other final year students who didn't do a placement and you go, well, actually, they haven't really learned what I've learned. Do I really fit into university life again? It's different. There's less structure. There's less tasks to do. I got used to working a 9 to 5, or in some cases more than that day. And you think about, well, actually, is university still for me? I really want to finish and get out and start earning some money and start my career. You're also probably thinking about, well, okay, and how have I changed over the past year? Am I the same person? Well, of course you're not. You're a different person. What type of professional am I going to be? How have my values and ethics been challenged or reinforced while on placement? I've got not enough time to do what I'm doing, or sit there and think and reflect upon the things, who I was, who I'm becoming. So the reflexive essay gives you the opportunity to do this. Yes, you worked really hard on your project. Yes, your project's worth 70%. However, that was knowledge based about a particular issue. The 30% essay that you do will be about you and how you developed and how you've grown. And it gives you opportunity to reflect upon your learning journey, to make sense of a chaotic, messy world, and to develop a critical thinking, reflective mindset which allows you to think about the knowledge that you have. You may forget about the knowledge that's pumped into you in lectures and workshops. However, if you can react, reflect and make sense of chaos, this will stay with you for a lot longer than you probably realise, allowing you to enter into the promised land where you've nearly finished your 4 years at university and you've learned a little about marketing or HRM or finance enterprise. And I say a little because you have only learned a little. It's only the beginning of your journey into the subject area. You'll learn more about the subject area that you specialised in when you start to work, and as more you work, more experience you get. However, you should be at the stage now where you're awakening to where you fit into this chaotic world of work, your promised land, your profession, and you will continue to flourish if you are reflective and reflexive. You now have the knowledge to talk about who you are and what I want to become. This is a very short and simple presentation about the path that you've taken. Now in your essay, you need to show us your journey to the promised land. Good luck.